Now, with growing concerns about the activities of Aisha Huang, a notorious Chinese lady, also known as the Galamsey Queen in Ghana, President Akufo Addo says he is unsure she was initially deported from the country. Now, according to him, her re-emergence raises concern about whether she left Ghana in the first place. Speaking on a whole-based radio station as part of his tour of the Volta region, he expressed reservation about the nefarious activities of Aisha Huang and affirmed his support for her prosecution.
First of all, it's now a subject of national discussion.
Okay.
Everywhere you go, this matter of Galamsey, we've at least achieved that purpose of heightening consciousness about it as an evil. When I came, nobody was talking about Galamsey. Since we came and focused on it, it is now the subject of discussions in homes, in offices, in meetings all across Ghana. So that's one very positive development. Secondly, many of the measures that have been put in place are yielding fruit. The community mining schemes that are being established across the country systematically are being rolled out. The efforts there are to keep our waters clean have not succeeded in their entirety, but some measurable increase in performance there is also taking place. Generally, you can see that, yes, there will be sensational cases, and the matter is not over. The Aisha Huang is a sort of, has become a short form for everything to do with, especially, unfortunately, with the involvement of foreigners, especially Chinese, in these illicit and dangerous acts in our country. But I'm persuaded that much of the work that is being done, and a lot of these things are going on without too much publicity, is gradually yielding results. When you have a situation like this woman who was, I'm not still sure whether she was in fact deported or whether she fled the country the first time and has now come back, but whatever. There still seems to be some uncertainty about it. But whichever way it is, she has become the sort of nickname for all that the Galamsey represents. And unfortunately, also for the involvement of Chinese nationals in Ghana in this particular illicit trade. We have constantly to work at it. We need to have the cooperation of the courts. Until recently, till I came, the punishment for people caught was relatively light, a fine, and even if we're going to go to custodial sentences, was relatively minimal. We've changed the law to stiffen the punishments for people caught. For foreigners, I think it's now 15 to 25 years.
Well, joining us live on this development is security analyst Dr. Adam Bona through Zoom for some introspection on this. Many thanks for your time, Doctor. Now, how do you find this latest concern about the president on Aisha Huang's deportation?
Oh, good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pity and it's a shame that the #1 gentleman of the land, who, according to security protocols, he must be briefed daily. He needs to know what took place 24 hours ago, and he must know what is likely to take place in the next 24 hours and beyond. But unfortunately, from the way the president has spoken, and I'm happy he has admitted that he himself, as the most important person of our land, is not sure if Aisha Huang was deported or she was just asked to go away and she ended up somewhere in Addis Ababa and found her way back into this country. It is an admission that, if you ask me, every security watcher, every level-headed Ghanaian will be worried. Every investor who is probably monitoring would be worried, because then it means that those who are supposed to be briefing the president in security-wise probably aren't doing what is expected of them. So as far as I'm concerned, The president went on to talk about laws that are, stiffened laws and all that, and the fact that we seem to be making some strides when it comes to the fight against galamsey. This singular issue of Aisha Huang, probably I would say, has derailed every effort we might have put in. And I am saying that go to KIA. Let's go for the records. I would want the president to probably from now on take it upon himself. He did say that he's put his presidency on the line when the initial fight against galamsey started. So I would want to hear the president or the president direct that from now on, he is going to monitor closely what is happening within the Ghana Immigration Service. Go to KIA. How many Chinese nationals are arriving in Ghana on, taking visas on arrival? They board planes, go through either Dubai or go through, call it Addis or somewhere else, and they land at Kotoka, and visas are already arranged. This is an open secret. And so as far as I'm concerned, I have said it, that if you put a retired and tired, immigration officer to be at the helm of affairs at the Ghana Immigration Service, then obviously those who appointed him will not be briefed, because you have Techi, who is supposed to be on retirement, and he's been given 2 years contract. And I say that the situation is going to get worse if Techi doesn't go.
But what does this really mean for the security setup of the country if the commander-in-chief is admitting that someone who was supposed to be deported, he cannot, say for sure that she was indeed deported?
Well, it tells you that there are a lot of gaps when it comes to the security of this country. And I'm happy the president admitted, unfortunately. I'm happy. Because then it's been, all of us trying to tell the authorities, especially the immigration service, that they got it wrong. And in one breath, they come to tell us, they actually arrested her. In one breath, they come to tell us she used unapproved routes. And you have the government spokesperson on governance and security confirming what some of us put out initially, that she came through on approved routes. And let me also say that let's use Aisha Huang's probably arrest and prosecution as a test case, as a bold test case for the fight against galamsey. I have also called for the itemized phone records of Aisha Huang. If you see that itemized phone records, is very explosive. Who Aisha Huang was talking to whilst she was illegally residing in this country. The telecom, she has 2 telephone numbers. Those 2 telephone numbers she was using to call her partners, some of whom are at higher places, some of whom we know the telephone records from these telecom companies are itemized. We have the power, the courts or the investigative team can actually get a court warrant and instruct, if they want to do diligent work, investigative work, they can get a court warrant and ask the telecom companies that she was actually using, she was on their network, to give them what do you call it, her itemized bills, who she was talking to, where she was traveling to, in and around the country and all that. You know this day and age, once you use a certain type of, you use telephone, in fact, because we all connect by way of, cell site to one cell site or the other. So if I am going to Wa or Isa, where I'm from, you will connect seamlessly from one cell site to the other. So it is easy to say, Dr. Adam Bona is at the moment, in this particular location, approximately, if it is not just the phone, but he might be there. And so mine is that the telephone records, the itemized records of Aisha Huang will tell a lot of the lying, those who have been lying to the president. And some of these people who have been lying to the president know that they were actually in touch with Aisha Huang while she was in this country. And when this issue broke, all of them have denied the knowing that she was here. And probably the court, the CJ, can actually direct that we can have a live telecast of Aisha Huang's proceedings in court. It is so important because we are getting to a point where our water bodies have all been destroyed, our forest cover has been depleted, and you have officials who are in cahoots with Aisha Huang doing this to this country. And I say, from the beginning I said it, it is a pain saying that you are proud to be a Ghanaian when you have this young Chinese woman come in, walk into this country with impunity, when she's not supposed to be here, and our security couples are not even able to tell the president, as we speak today, that this is what happened. She was deported or she was not deported. It's a pity, if you ask me.
Now, since you've had access to these data, who and who was she speaking to?
Oh, I'm not going to. I can't share. I'm asking them to. The security agencies have the power to actually go to court and dig out what do you call it, and get a warrant so that her itemized phone bills. I can't provide you that. Obviously, I'm not supposed to disclose it. But like I am saying, if we want to do a diligent forensic investigative work on Aisha Huang and the people she's been talking to, Aisha Huang actually communicated almost all the time to China. Chinese people were coming in and out of this country through Aisha Huang. Aisha Huang was communicating to some officials in this country. Some officials knew. Some officials actually visited her in her Ahonju residence. All these things, they can piece it together. It is easy. This day and age, if you commit a crime, unless the investigators don't know what they are doing or they want to cover up, but if you committed a crime and they wanted to look for you, using your telephone number, which is unique to you alone in the whole world, they are able to tell that you were here, and even in some instances, you are able to record. We have the machinery to record conversation. So mine is that let's not play down on Aisha Huang like Mr. Gabi Ocheredako tried linking Aisha Huang's arrival, sneaking or coming back into this country to economic migrants who would go through Niger, Agadez, go through Libya, and go to Italy, comparing a gangster to people who are hungry and are walking to Italy and saying that we shouldn't make anything out of it because then you cannot seal the border. It's like telling me that the leaders of Boko Haram will find their way into U.S. mainland or in Britain or in Germany, and those who are in charge of protecting these countries will still be there. No. So if you tell me that Aisha Huang came and you have, the president's cousin, Gabi Ocheredako, saying that, immigration, you can't. It is not true. All over the world, unless that country is not looking for you, they flag your details. Once you come in, you will not actually even be able to get it. But unfortunately, she got in. And so mine is that, and I'm saying, televise proceedings in court. We want to know what happened. Aisha Huang speaks Twi. She speaks fluent English, and she speaks Mandarin. So I'm sure, even if they use a translator, we would all hear it. And it will serve as a warning to others who would want to bring, galamseyers into this country, Chinese galamseyers and other people. So one, televise her proceedings. Two, go for her itemized telephone records for us to know what happened. And then three, get rid of Techi, because Techi is complicit in this whole thing that is happening. And as the president has just admitted and alluded to, he himself, if the president says, I don't know what happened, whether she was deported or not, then me, as an ordinary person, Bona, what can I say? If the president, the first gentleman of the land, says he has, this morning, and the records are there how she came in. I'm just surprised that they are not still briefing the president. The records are there. And one of the officers who facilitated it today is working at, is working at one of our important gateways into this country. And my point is that let's not play down on this whole thing that is going on. I won't say it is state-sponsored, but what I can say is that there are individuals who we are paying to protect us, who probably are complicit, or I would say are complicit in this whole thing. So I'm happy the president has admitted, but let's go beyond the admission and make sure forensic, proper investigative machinery is rolled out to bring this whole thing to finality.
What does this mean to our fight against illegal small-scale mining?
Well, I don't even know whether this will be called illegal small-scale mining. This is illegal large-scale mining. If you know how this woman is so connected, how do we even define? Probably we need to look for those who are into mining to tell us what will constitute small-scale mining. Is it when you go underground that will call it large-scale, or surface mining to a certain extent? Because then what Aisha Huang and her people have been doing, it will be difficult when they can go and clear a whole forest cover, clear a whole maybe 20 football parks. They clear them just to dig gold. I don't know. So for me, the fight against illegal mining, I wouldn't call it small-scale mining, illegal mining in this country. If you take Aisha Huang's case, I would say that we have not been successful as we should have been. We would have been more successful if probably the president would tie DCs and MMCs, who themselves, some of them are complicit in the fight against galamsey. Give them their KPIs. When they were appointed, nominated and appointed, you give them their KPIs, the key performance indicators, or you tell them, if anyone is found at your backyard digging the ground illegally for gold, you will be dismissed immediately if the evidence suggests that it is happening. You don't have to be linked to it. But if it happens at your backyard, you will be fired. I think that the president can do us that favor because he appointed these people. He has a prerogative power to dismiss them. Give them, it's not late. He has 2 years to go. Give them, these KPIs. Let them know. The first thing should be illegal mining in these communities where mining is taking place. You know the brouhaha surrounding the Elembele, DC, and the police. And it is not just the only example. So mine is that the fight against galamsey would be won properly if the president really looks at the structure, the organization, and look at probably the entire structure of it. And this is most of them in the mining communities. I mean, any researcher will tell you that you can always quote Haja Ali Mamama. Once you put them in a room and say that I know those of you DCs who are doing galamsey. So I will quote her that she said it, and some of us have the evidence that most DCs who probably are listening to me today from mining communities have their own excavators, have their own chamfines, have their own gangs, people who are digging the gold, and no one cares. And if you even smuggle gold out of this country, and
so Doc, on this note,
the sentence is death.
On this note, who do you think should be held responsible for the gap in security in ensuring that people are able to do the things Aisha Huang did?
Well, I would say it is you want to mention the national security. I'm told they were partly involved in this arrest, but I would say that it is an entire chain. Attempting to connect it, I would say in terms of Aisha Huang, first of all, if you ask me from where I sit, I will tell you that Techi should go. If Techi goes, because then Techi is directly linked to immigration. He is the head of immigration in this country. Some time ago, when a certain police IGP said it is only in heaven that crime doesn't take place, the president immediately relieved him of his position, brought a certain dampering. Today, do you hear of daylight robberies and night robberies? There are motorbikes with police officers all over this country. So I am saying that with the specific issue of Aisha Huang, I say Techi has retired. The 2 years contract given him terminated. Bring a younger officer like he did for Dampari to come. Get that officer inspired for him to inspire other younger people. Because for just the Ghanaians, our, call them the local people, most of them are languishing in jail. But you have just two Chinese people, according to Manasseh and his group, who are languishing in jail. So mine is that I would say that it's good the president has admitted, but I should go beyond admission and look at it. Let's look for who probably looked on for this. And now, if you ask me, if I'm supposed to advise the president through your media, I will say it is an entire, failure. But Techi, in terms of immigration, has failed. And so he should go.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I'm grateful. Dr. Adam Bona is a security analyst there. This is the news desk on the Joy News channel. Now